Is the audio still echoing? We're going to get this started in a few minutes. I just want to wait for it to fill up a little bit. I think it's echoing because of my room. I don't really think that I can fix it right now. I'm not in the room I'm usually in. So we'll get started in like 30 seconds, 1 minute. Just going to be talking about a little bit of market analysis, what's going on. A lot of people are asking me, how can they protect their portfolio with this looming Bitcoin run? So I just want to go over a few different strategies that you can do that will help protect you in case Bitcoin does do the run that we are looking to have. So I'm just going to wait another minute or so for this to fill up, but I'm looking in the comments if anyone has some questions before we start. All right, let's get started a little bit. At the end of the stream, I'll do 5 or 10 minutes of questions and just answer whatever's in the comments. But let's start off with Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, what I was watching for was it to break this trend line. You know, we're always using the 4-hour. Hold on, let me get my EMAs up, or let's see. There we go. So with Bitcoin, the reason that I'm so bullish on Bitcoin right now and I reduced a lot of my altcoin positions was because we had this EMA crossover right here. And, you know, when I'm trading, I don't use as many indicators as some of the other traders who use a lot of technical analysis. But something I've found to be the strongest indicator for a trend reversal is this EMA crossover. So we saw the first EMA crossover for Bitcoin in a long time. The last EMA crossover we saw was actually back here on November 14th, and as you can see, we went from about 6,000 all the way up to 20,000 in a matter of a month and a half. Then we had this bearish crossover right here, and you see the bearish crossover. You know, if you just trade using these crossovers, you would have opened a Bitcoin long at 6,700 and you would have sold at 17,000. You know, you would have had great gains. This is one of the best indicators. But so for the first time in a while, about a little less than a month, we have another really bullish crossover. We broke into what I like to call a descending wedge, which is actually a bullish continuation pattern. And so as soon as we broke this trend line, it was a pretty good indication that we're going to have another bull phase. You know, Bitcoin can easily retest highs. I have targets as high as 34,000 going into March. And, you know, I just think that everyone should be a little bit careful with altcoins right now because a lot of them, in my opinion, are very overpriced. Let's just go through CoinMarketCap for a little bit. I mean, you guys all know my view on Ripple. It's definitely not worth 120 billion in my opinion. You know, I don't think any cryptocurrency except for Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point should be valued over 100 billion. Like, it really just amazes me that Ripple is more valuable right now than Ethereum when Ethereum has all these ERC20 tokens on it. It's the biggest name, you know. This is a joke to me. So I'd recommend taking some profits on a Ripple position if you have one for a while. Obviously, I feel strongly about it, so I don't want to recommend anyone selling their altcoins, but that's just my opinion. And then we're looking at things like Cardano. You know, I don't think Cardano belongs in this market cap. Stellar debatably does, NEM debatably does, Litecoin good, but then we see like Tron doesn't belong here, Ryblox in my opinion doesn't belong here. So there's just a lot of altcoins that have ridiculous market caps that don't belong there. You know, they're up a couple 100% since Bitcoin has started its downtrend, and now Bitcoin's in a confirmed uptrend. So what we want to do, well, what I am doing, I don't want to tell anyone what they should be doing. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not recommending anything in this video. But what I did is the past few days, I have been reducing my altcoin positions. Even though they've been going up, you know, you have to try your hardest not to FOMO back into them because there's just no doubt that we're going to have a big Bitcoin breakout as soon as some volume comes in. Right now, there's not enough volume for it to break out big like it did, for example, right here. If you can tell, the volume was significantly higher than it is now. But I mean, you have to know that this breakout is just looming. There's so many bullish indicators on Bitcoin on top of altcoins being overpriced. And, you know, we dodged a lot of bearish things at the start of this year. I was being really careful with Bitcoin come January 1st because historically there's been a lot of profit taking on January 1st. So, you know, we dodged that. On top of that, we dodged a few other bearish signals, which ultimately is just showing Bitcoin's strength. It's also at a really low market dominance right now. It's at 30%, 36% market dominance. This is like the all-time low. So you got to think, you got to think that Bitcoin's going to make a comeback and have some sort of bull run pretty soon. And that's what we want to be careful of. So the first strategy for a Bitcoin bull run is to reduce your altcoin positions. If you have a really good entry on a lot of these altcoins, which I'm sure many of you do, you don't want to sell the whole position, you know, especially ones that you're holding long. But if you're up a couple 100% on it, there's no reason that you shouldn't take some profits and then wait to buy back at a lower price. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin doesn't go up, your altcoin continues to go up, so you make money and you reduce your risk. And as we all know in crypto, it's really easy to make money, but you lose money way faster. So in these types of situations, it's really important that you don't get greedy and you take some profits, you go into some safer coins such as Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, and you know, you try and just maybe make 10 or 20% on a month rather than the 100% that you think that you could make this month, just because we need to reduce our risk. So the second thing I said actually is I'm really bullish on Ethereum right now. I realized that I'm bullish on Ethereum because that's the only coin that I ever think about aside from Bitcoin in terms of USD. And this is something I just realized the other day, but you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum are a completely different caliber. Like, these are the two main projects in the cryptocurrency space. They have the most attention, and they're both due for growth. They're both due for a big breakout. A couple months ago, I was saying I definitely see Ethereum hitting the 1,000 to 1,100 range. We hit that start of January. I'm moving this target up to about 3,000 to 3,500. There's no reason that Ethereum shouldn't be trading much higher than this, in my opinion. Another reason I think Ethereum is going to trade much higher than this is because new investors will see the value in Ethereum a lot easier than they would see the value in Bitcoin. It takes a little bit of time and understanding the tech in the market to realize why Bitcoin holds so much value, whereas Ethereum is more of a platform and it's a lot easier to comprehend for someone who is not too much into the tech. So I think that we're going to get a lot of attention from Ethereum this year. In addition to that, they announced Ethereum 2.0 and some upgrades they plan on doing to it to compete with these new and upcoming blockchains like Icon. And so definitely keep your eye on Ethereum, definitely keep your eye on Bitcoin. All right, let's take a few questions now. I'm going to scroll back up a little bit. Dogecoin, if Dogecoin goes to $5. Dogecoin's another reason that I think the market is just really oversaturated right now. You know, Dogecoin has a $1.7 billion market cap, and it's a joke coin. There's nothing wrong with it. Sorry, 1.7 billion. There's nothing wrong with it, but I mean, you know, if you think about a real company, can you see a real company in the world having a $1.7 billion market cap that is just a joke to send tips between different forums? So just seeing these types of things makes me feel like a lot of these altcoins are very, very, very overpriced, and I think a lot of that money is going to move to Bitcoin and Ripple. Still bullish on Shift. I'm extremely bullish on Shift still. I don't understand what the pullback is for. You know, Shift is more of a tech-heavy coin, and I don't think a lot of people will understand its value until it's more widely used. If we go to their website, that update they just put out was absolutely amazing. This is one of the most detailed roadmaps that I have seen. You know, they want to do a new delegated proof-of-stake consensus, new voting, Hydra, which is their new content management system that's running on the IPFS. And I mean, you can just see, I was really waiting for this roadmap update, and this is far more than I expected, and I'm still very bullish on Shift. I added it to my long bags. In addition to that, they're releasing 4 white papers next year, or sorry, this year. I'm still not, used to it being 2018. Can you participate in Legolas ICO being a U.S. citizen? Yeah, you can. Round 0 for sure, and then round 1, I believe someone in one of my groups asked, and they got the confirmation. So let's get into the second strategy of hedging against a possible Bitcoin run. And so the way to do this is on BitMEX. You know, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can't really use BitMEX. But the best way to use BitMEX to hedge against a Bitcoin run is to open a Bitcoin long. So what BitMEX offers is leverage trading. So you can open a 3 times or 5 times trade on Bitcoin, so let me actually break this down more. What leverage trading is you can trade with more money than you're putting down. So you can trade up to 100 times leverage on BitMEX, but I wouldn't suggest that. It's really risky. I would suggest trading between 2 to 5 times leverage. So what this means is if I put 1 Bitcoin into BitMEX and I want to do 5 times leverage, I can trade with 5 Bitcoins worth of money. So if I open a Bitcoin long at a price of say 15,000 and Bitcoin goes up 20% on a 5 times long, I'm actually making 100%. So the way to hedge is you want to open a position where say Bitcoin goes up 10%, you know altcoins are probably going to go down around 10%, 20%. It's different in this market every day because altcoins are popping and they're going up like crazy. But so if you open a 2 times long with the amount that you would lose in altcoins, then if Bitcoin goes up 10%, you make 20% on your long. Altcoins go down 20%, you lose 20% of the Bitcoin there, you end up even. So it's just a great way to reduce risk in a situation like this. And that's the most basic BitMEX strategy. You know, you want to just be trading on BitMEX, opening a long or a short when you get some really strong confirmation like we got right here. You know, we have the EMA crossover and we broke out of the descending wedge. So, new update on ZCL. ZCL is doing awesome. If we go to Z Classic, you know, the original video on Z Classic, I think we were at like a $35 or $40 million market cap. When I originally wrote about it in my newsletter, I think we were at $3 million market cap. Z Classic was at like $3 or $5. So we've had some pretty good returns here. There's some people that have been messaging me saying they've had life-changing gains on Z Classic, and you know that's what I love to hear. If I've helped you get some gains like that, please feel free to message me. You know, I actually have a folder with all the messages like that people send me, and one day, you know, I'll put them all on a website because that's really what keeps me running. So let's take a few more questions. We'll probably do about 5 minutes of questions, then I'm going to end the stream today. You know, I just wanted to get live again. I haven't been live in a few days, and I wanted to give my market analysis because I'm starting to get a little bit worried about altcoins. Okay, so a lot of stuff about Dragon in the questions. Dragon, I'm still extremely bullish on. Dragon Chain, we've been in since ICO. I don't recommend a lot of ICOs because I don't do them that much, but I mean, Dragon Chain was one I felt really strongly about. The ICO was at 6 cents, so we're up like 65x on here. But the market cap's not even at $1 billion. In Dragon Chain, what I saw is they have over 200 applications for projects to come out of their incubator, and they already have 2 ICOs happening this month. So a good thing that I do to compare where market cap should be compared to where it is now is look at its competition. And the best competition to look at for Dragon Chain, in my opinion, is Neo, because Neo also has had a few ICOs on their platform. It's been around a little bit longer than Dragon Chain, but it's from a different country. You know, Dragon Chain is very US based. It has a really good US following. Neo obviously has a big following in China. But Neo has a $7 billion market cap almost. So it's almost a no-brainer thinking that Dragon Chain can easily go to $2 to $3 billion market cap in the next couple weeks alone if these ICOs go well. And I'll have more details on the ICO as they come closer. I know Lateral is on January 8th, the pre-sale is. And the longer you've been holding your Dragon Chain, the higher your slumber score is and the more discount you're going to get on the ICO. Thank you, Gregory, for that tip. I got into WTC today based off of EMA crossover on the 4-hour, but with Bitcoin looming, should I just look for quick profit? So let's check out WTC. So WTC, let me just get a little bit better picture here. So yeah, we saw this 4-hour EMA crossover. If you're trading strictly from the EMA crossover, then you probably got in around 75 to 78,000. And you know, you're already at almost a 15-20% profit. So this is kind of a difficult situation because Bitcoin run is looming, but I think that this is a pretty bullish confirmation considering that WTC just released some good news. I haven't read up on the news, but let's see if I can find it real quick. I can't remember where I saw the news. Let me just try one more spot, and if I can't find it, then we'll just move on. I can't remember what the news was, but in this type of situation, you know, it obviously hit this resistance and bounced off. You know, this is the third time it's hit the resistance. So what I would recommend in this sort of situation depends on your risk level. If you're looking for a little bit more of a risky play, then you can just let it ride out. You know, maybe set a stop loss around somewhere in this level, the 83 to 85,000 range, because this is where we should have some support. And then, so you could set a stop loss here if you want to make a conservative trade. If you want to make a little bit more of a risky trade, then you should just let it ride out. You know, see if we break this resistance right here. If we break this resistance, then, you know, the next resistance isn't really until here. So you would see another 15 to 20%. And we can also tell that this is a really strong resistance because if we look back, you know, we double bottomed here. It's almost a perfect line. So again, a lot of trading is not these really intense indicators. It's just where is their resistance, where is their support, where is there the next resistance to find my target, and what's the general trend looking like. So I'd feel comfortable holding WTC a little bit longer. You know, I think that the Bitcoin breakout could be a few more days just because we don't really have the volume we need yet to have an explosive breakout. Will you participate in Nucleus? I was in on the Nucleus pre-sale, and I'm very bullish on that project. I'll probably do a video on Nucleus around the time of the public sale. Although I'm bullish on Ethereum, if Bitcoin moves, it is guaranteed Ethereum will crash in Bitcoin terms. See, that's the thing. I don't look at Ethereum in terms of Bitcoin, and even if Bitcoin runs, Ethereum is making new highs right now, and then you know when Bitcoin pulls back, Ethereum will go up in terms of Bitcoin. But like I mentioned earlier, Ethereum is the only other coin that I look at in terms of US value, so it's not right for me to get worried about it losing value in terms of Bitcoin during a Bitcoin bull run, because I think that Ethereum is going to be trading a lot higher later this year. Okay, a lot of people in the comments talking about Daddy ICO and the FUD going on around it. I haven't looked too much more into the FUD. A lot of people are saying, how could I advertise that without looking into it? I skimmed through the white paper before I posted the referral link. You know, I was one of the last people to post the referral link, and I've never read the Sonam white paper, so how am I supposed to know that a section looks similar? I'm going to look more into it, and actually tonight, one of my buddies is doing an AMA with the CEO. I'll tweet out that link as well. And so if you have more questions on Daddy ICO, then that's a pretty good time to ask. Where did you find info on the A-Chain fork? It was on Cointelegram. If you go to my Telegram group as well, I posted a link to the news in my newsletter. And then the link to my Telegram group is actually in the description. If you scroll down, it's the Gem Club Telegram group. That's my free Telegram group. I release all my information, all my calls in it, completely free to everyone. I'll take a few more questions before I get off for the day. I was just trying to get a quick stream in to give an update on my market position. What's the case for ETC? So I think ETC is a really safe play right now. I've heard some rumors that they're going to be added to Coinbase. However, these are just rumors. And, you know, Coinbase just released a statement that I haven't read yet about what they would be adding. But if you look at where ETC is right now, you know, it's not far off from this really heavy accumulation area. So it's kind of a low risk, high reward play. You know, if you buy ETC and it drops all the way back down to support, yeah, you're going to lose 15%. But, oh sorry, this is a Binance chart. I want a Bittrex chart because it's been trading there longer. So this looks a lot better. So the thing with ETC is, you know, it's bottomed out here a couple times. And again, the way I'm doing analysis right now, this is the way that I do analysis on all my charts, and you don't need all these fancy indicators. So it double bottomed here. You know, this is an accumulation area, obviously, just because there's been so much sideways trading in this area. And if we look, it's already done its market cycle. You know, it had the, oh my God, Ethereum Classic is the new Ethereum, drop down, drop down, drop down. Now it's bottomed out. People have lost their hope. No one's really paying attention to it. So if we look at the price range, if we went from here back to all-time high, 300%. And you know, once it gets some momentum behind it, that can happen very quickly. And now we want to look at the downside. If we were to buy it here and it would drop all the way back down to this support, 30%. So if you want to open a long position on Ethereum Classic, you know, your downside is maybe 30%, and you could even wait for it to hit this support to put in some buy orders because we know Bitcoin is going to start to run. But the upside of you holding it for probably maybe 2 or 3 months for it to return to all-time highs or start to break out again, it's 300%. It's a pretty safe play. I'm holding some Ethereum Classic right now. What's my position on UBQ? UBQ, you know, another one of these blockchains. It's been very successful. And market cap's pretty low. We could look at something like Dragon Chain. You know, UBIQ is its own blockchain. It has some coins on it. And, you know, I could easily see this going to 500 million to a billion. UBQ has a ton of support from the Twitter OGs, you know, the generation much before me. And what those guys are holding on to and accumulating usually ends up going pretty well. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more questions, then I'm going to hop off. Am I going big on WanChain? So WanChain I'm really looking forward to. I didn't get in the ICO, and I know I'm going to have to pay probably 10 or 12 times premium on it, but I'm definitely going to pick that up right off the bat. Last question, because it is a coin that I see right now in the comments that I really like, Pearl. I'm going to be making a video on Pearl sometime in the next week or 2, and it is a really interesting coin. So what Pearl is... obviously really low market cap right now, 83 million. It's having some serious growth, but I can see it growing a lot more than here. So what Pearl is it's a new way to advertise, basically. So what you do is if you own a website, instead of putting up a bunch of ads, you just put in this JavaScript code. And by putting in this code, web visitors contribute a portion of their CPU and GPU power to enable users' files to be stored on a decentralized and anonymous ledger. So basically what this script does is you can remove all your ads and put in the script, and then when someone's on your website, you know, it just takes a little bit of their CPU and GPU power and it mines. So that way, instead of having annoying ads, it just slows your computer down a tiny bit, and if you have thousands of users on your site, then obviously you're going to be getting just as good revenue from ads or even better revenue. So this is just one of those cool projects. You know, it's something really simple, but it's something that could be adopted, you know, or at least be used. And it's just a really good idea. There's nothing else like it. So I'm going to be making a video on Pearl probably in the next week. I know Data Dash just put out a video on his top 3 and Pearl was in it. And so if you want more info right now, then you can go and check out that video. So do you have a VIP group? How can we join? I do not, I have a paid VIP group, but my paid VIP group is not for calls. Any call I make is always free in my Telegram group, the Gem Club. The VIP paid group that I have is for someone who's looking for more support and wants more educational advice. You know, I'm in there all day and I answer questions, not about what altcoin I should buy, but, you know, judging from this TA, what do you think about this? Or am I doing this analysis right? What do you think about the market right now? You know, I answer questions like that. It's not for calls. And so if you are interested in something like that, then just DM me on Telegram and I can get you in that. I'm going to wrap up for today. That's it. But the conclusion, make sure you be safe. Obviously, altcoins are running like crazy. There's some huge profits, but just remember that those profits can disappear just as fast or faster than they came if Bitcoin decides to do a big bullish run. I'm not trying to scare everyone. I just want everyone to think proactively and, you know, maybe take some profits on a position you're up a ton on or have a great entry from. Then you can always look back to re-add the money on a dip. All right, I'll see you guys.